Hey guys, I know Nationals was 2 weeks ago when everyone probably uploaded and watched all the footage already, but this was really my first opportunity to edit and make this video since I went on vacation right after Nationals. I basically just want to recap Nationals and describe the whole experience in general. So I basically flew into Las Vegas on August 1st, too early if you ask me. For those of you that don't know, the first day of the competition started on August 3rd, so not very many people were there on the 1st. I know a few people that flew in the morning of the 3rd, and I wouldn't recommend that either. It's generally the best idea to fly in the day before a big competition. That's usually when everyone else is getting there. The only people that I really made contact with on the 1st were judges, since they were holding their competition on the next day. During the day I saw Tyson, Pachman, Mackey, Felix Lee, and a bunch of other judges that would be competing the next day. However, later that night I did meet up with Blake, Louis, and Antoine. I had been to competitions with all of them, but this was the first time we really talked because we had never truly known each other personally prior to this. The next day, just about everyone came. I soon realized that this was the first competition I would go to where I would actually have too many friends. Over the course of competitions, YouTube, and Facebook, I had made dozens of Cuba friends that would be at this competition. It would be impossible to get a chance to hang out with all of them. However, I did get the chance to talk to everyone I wanted to. As you're viewing these pictures go by, I'm sorry if you aren't included in this discussion or these pictures. There are simply too many of you. By the time the next day came, everyone was here and the competition was ready to begin. I did terribly in 4x4 with a 125 average and a single well over 2 minutes because I messed up the parity algorithm. I also did horribly in 2x2 with a 6-second average. This was a shame because the cutoff for round 2 for 2x2 was an absolute gift. My average could have been slower than average for me, and I still would have made it, but I did absolutely horrible. The first round of FMC was pretty bad, but the second was even worse, so I won't even talk about that. I found a bunch of 45 move solutions and eventually a 44, so I just submitted that. 4x4 blind was alright. It could have been better, but it also definitely could have been worse. My time was 10:10, which was a shame because I wanted a sub 10, but at that time it still beat my old competition PB by over 4 minutes. Also, I just missed second place by about 20 seconds since Julian just barely got a sub 10. At the time, I thought he knocked me off podium because I didn't realize that Chester DNF'd, so I assumed I got 4th. I ended up in 3rd place in 4x4 blind to Julian, and then Mike in 1st with a 6-minute solve. There were 9 people that got a 4x4 blind success. This means I actually had to work to podium. I couldn't simply rely on DNFs. 5x5 was unspeakable, I won't even talk about that. One hand was actually relatively well for me. I say for me, because it was actually faster than my daily average, although for most people it would be terrible. The average was sub 35, which actually ended up being less than double my 2-hand average. The only thing left for the day was the first attempt for multi-blind. I would have gotten 3rd place and a new competition PB, but I had an explosion, so I ended up with 7 out of 10 instead of 8 out of 10. The second attempt was 7 out of 11. Both times my memory felt very secure. I don't know what was wrong. I just have to work on my consistency. My first event the next day was 3x3 blind. My only success was my safety solve. Just like with 2x2, the cutoff for the next round was an absolute joke, yet I still didn't make it. I really didn't care. I hate 3x3 blind, and I was sort of relieved that I wouldn't have to do 3 more solves the next day. 5x5 blind went pretty well. I got a 27-minute success, beating my old competition PB by 5 minutes, and beating John by only 5 seconds. Since Mike DNF'd and Chester's WCA profile is of Malaysia, I ended up being national champion for 5x5 blind. There were 4 people that got 5x5 blind successes. Unfortunately, while I was doing 5x5 blind, I missed Yumu's 6.09 single. Also, I had no time to warm up for 3x3, and as a result had a terrible average. Remarkably, I still beat my competition PB for 3x3 average and single. All I had left that day was 6x6, which I had a pretty decent average of about 420. That night I went to the Stratosphere with James and we rode the rides at the top. It was a lot of fun. The next day was finals, the last day of the competition. Watching Andrew get his 6:15 single was awesome. Right from the very start of that solve I knew it was going to be good. Not to mention I saw a sub 10 single in the one-hand finals. But really the most profound thing that day was the results. The national champions were Andrew Ricci, Kevin Hayes, Chris Olson, Mike Hughey, Justin Mallari, Michael Young, Timothy Sun, John Cookmeyer, Felix Lee, Andrew Nelson, Deven Nadudvari, Ernie Pulchny, Mitch Lane, and me. I think someone may have mentioned it to me, but it's as if a whole new generation of cubers is taking over. To watch Justin single-handedly beat Phil, Weston, Rowe, and all the other one-hand legends to win OH was amazing. To watch Andrew beat all the 3x3 experts with a great average and ridiculous single was incredible. I feel like just a year ago, these cubers and I would sit awkwardly at the same table during a competition, cowering at how good the legendary cubers are. But now we're national champions, coming in ahead of some of those who we idolize most. These cubing legends have always set a precedent to show us how good they are, show us how much we suck, but most importantly, how much we need to practice. They've always led the cubing world with us practicing hard to try and catch up. But now that some of us have, we are already used to the feeling of having to get better and have actually pulled ahead. It seems as though the time is coming for these legends to pass the torch on to this new generation of cubers. I didn't expect that I would podium twice, but I know that making it to the top is much easier than staying on top. I will have to continue to practice hard if I want to do well in upcoming competitions. The cubing community is continually becoming more and more competitive, and it isn't going to wait for anyone. You could never know who will be the best in the future, so be nice to everyone, even if they aren't very good. The people that look up to you today could be the same people that are better than you tomorrow. For this reason, I treat everyone the same way, whether it be Felix or someone just learning to solve. In conclusion, Nationals was a blast altogether. I did better in some events than I did in others, but overall I walked away with 2 plaques, a lot of new friends, and great experiences. I expect the competition to only become more difficult in the future, and I'm ready to embrace it. Just remember that no one is special. The effort you put in will always reflect the results that come out. That's what makes cubing so much fun, so fair, and so exciting. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and maybe I'll see some of you at the next competition. Bye.